Dwa serduszka, cztery oczy. Oj, oj, oj.
Cold War is a light on details, heavy on feeling look at two people navigating their way through life in the Cold War period, basically moving from communist country to capitalist country and back again, as they fall in and out of love with each other and how the music that they make with each other changes. Victor is working on a communist government project in Poland to gather folk singers together and create an academy for folk music and dance that obviously has the added bonus of edifying the workers and the proletariat of the times. While auditioning, he meets Zula, an unruly singer who later becomes the love of his life. This is my first Pawel Pawlikowski watch, so don't shoot me if I get something wrong about him. I had a weird experience watching the movie because I really had no idea what to expect, other than that it was in black and white and that there was lots of really nice music. The film is so light on details in some way that it's hard to give a plot synopsis without making it sound more composed as a movie than it is. Composed isn't the right word, coherent maybe. It has that sort of lack of detail that a retelling of a life story has to it, and I think that works perfectly well for the romantic epic that the film is aiming to be. With the details all sort of abstracted away, what we're left with focusing on is the film itself, and that's an absolutely revelatory experience. As the film starts and we're on this communist nationalist search for folk music, the framing is always with a lot of headroom. It's for free, the movie, so the people are just imprisoned at the bottom of the frame and there's lots of empty space. Often that space is filled with intersecting lines, if that's power lines or if that's the way that the skirting boards and the walls and ceilings line up, then that's how it works. This is a film in black and white where black is always on white or white is always on black. There's always variety in the frame, but it's constructed in such a way as to make the characters feel small within it. And yet, despite that constrictive framing, there's always depth in the frames. There'll be two people in the foreground, but they're leaning on a mirror, so you can see other people come up to them so that they're in the background, but they're actually in the foreground of the shot as well. That's an incredibly complex way of framing images, and it's so visually stimulating. It's an absolute treat to watch. The edit runs along with it, an often fast, rhythmic cutting that plays with the pace of music that really drives the film. We navigate through folk music to communist anthems to jazz to 60s pop music, then to the Eastern European version of 60s pop music. That variety lends itself to a cavalcade of explosive visual and sonic moments that includes a folk music, folk dance extravaganza, a sultry performance of a jazz song in the basement of a bar in Paris, all the way through to a drunken dance to Rock Around the Clock. And as Victor and Zula's love grows, we move away from those distant frames to these incredibly intimate two shots that in 4:3, which of course is the famous perfect size for a face for a portrait shot, we see our two characters framed together, sharing moments so close that it's almost impossible to see anything else but them. Peppered throughout are quiet moments, these revelatory cinematic set pieces that are just almost silent and very happy to be themselves, most notably a trip on the river at night in Paris. In and amongst this, the plot, what little there is of it, kind of gets a bit lost. It's about these two characters interacting with each other and falling in and out of love with each other and chasing each other across Europe over the course of about a decade. There's a lot to keep track of, and ultimately the movie isn't really interested in doing that. It was around the 2/3 mark where I realised that Pawlikowski was deliberately omitting details that would have been dramatic beats in other films. When Victor first falls in love with Zula, he's with someone else, but it's not clear if their partnership is professional or romantic. Zula may or may not cheat on him. She might be trying to make him jealous, or it might be something that she did because she was jealous of him. Victor, desperate to get back into Poland to his love, may or may not inform on other emigres and then gets stuck in a gulag and has his fingers broken off screen. Maybe that's just a side effect of having to jump through the events as quickly as possible in order to compress a 10-year time span into the duration of a 90-minute film. But I suspect it's a little more on purpose than that. I think what Pawlikowski is trying to talk about is about the nature of secret lives in Eastern Europe under communist rule. The way in which people had to hide their musical talents and likes and dislikes, their political beliefs, their loves. Ultimately, that winds its way towards a unsatisfying and very quick resolution to the film. So quick that it's almost unsettling. And again, I suspect that's the point. If you don't mind a film that's big on style and small on plot, although not on substance, not emotionally speaking, then Cold War by Pawel Pawlikowski is the one for you. And if you're a Pawel Pawlikowski fan and you know a lot more about him than I do, then please let me know in the comments down below. I'm really interested to find out more of his work now that I've seen this film. And if you liked or disliked the movie, I'd love to have a discussion with you about it. That's it from me. Bye for now.